As we said, Governor Northam said today the Commonwealth is on track to begin phase one of easing statewide restrictions on Friday. That order will allow salons, restaurants, and other so-called non-essential businesses to reopen while following certain safety protocols. That'll be good news for many businesses. I'm joined now via Zoom by Nancy Thomas. She's the president and CEO of the Retail Merchants Association. Ms. Thomas, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. Good evening.
Well, phase one, as we said, starts Friday. What does that mean for you and your members?
Well, it's good news. There are, obviously there are mandatory requirements for each industry, whether it's a retail, brick and mortar, or it's a restaurant, or it's personal care. So everyone has some mandatory requirements, and there are some best practices that they need to follow. It's good news. It's going to be challenging. I think store openings are going to look different for each business, and it's going to look different for the consumer.
Well, can you sort of give us a description, if you can, of the then and now? In other words, in terms of what the economy was like perhaps pre-COVID for your members as opposed to now?
Yeah, the economy was very good pre-COVID. A lot of times for the brick and mortar, as they are traveling through the first quarter, you see a little bit of a decline as they're getting their inventory from the previous holiday season out the door, and then they're starting to ramp up for the spring. So things were starting to really look up. Same-store sales were showing positive sales probably in February. So then as we're heading into March, the floodgates closed.
Well, and it's give us an image, if you can, of what it's going to look like, because we drive by now closed storefronts, whether it's in a strip mall, whether it's in a larger mall, or whether it's a standalone mom and pop. What is it going to look like when things start to open up? Are there places that we're going to be surprised are already closed and perhaps closed for good?
Well, yes, unfortunately, I think you will see some retail and restaurants. You've already seen some of the restaurants, unfortunately, that have had to close their doors for good. And you'll see that. But I think this is a test period for everyone. It's a test period for the retailers. It's a test period for the consumer. So, how to describe what it's going to look like, it's going to be very different. You're going to see lines outdoors. You're going to see very few people in the stores. Best Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say most people watching probably have a vested interest in making this successful, making their local retailers succeed, whether it's their restaurants, whether it's a boutique of some sort or other. What's your message to people at home to say, look, we're all in this together and we're all going to rebound together? What should they be thinking about?
Yeah, thanks. That is a good question. I appreciate the question. So everyone needs to remember that their customer experience is going to look a little different. Most of these stores have gone to an online platform, so I think it's great that you would go online first and maybe, kind of view the store or what their products are. So when you are going into the store, that, maybe we're not prolonging shopping. I mean, you want them to have a good experience, but you also have to know there's probably going to be a line out the door. Let's hope there's going to be a line out the door. I think we need to be patient with our retailers and restaurants, because this is going to be very new for them, and they are just getting their feet wet back into all these mandatory requirements and the things that they have to do in order to keep their customers and employees safe. So, I think every single retailer, restaurant, I don't care what industry you're in, you want to have a brand that says safety for both your employees and your customers. And I have great faith in our retail, restaurant, hospitality community that they will do that. And I have great faith in our consumers that they are going to have the patience needed to support their local retailers.
Yeah, anecdotally, the reports seem to be that consumers are already prepared for that. As you survey this reopening process and presumably phase two, maybe if we're lucky, just a few weeks or so down the road, do you envision this kind of unfolding? Do you have confidence that we kind of are ready to turn the corner here and fully rebound?
Well, I think the rebound, and I'm sorry, Bill, I had a tiny bit problem hearing you. I think you asked about a rebound and what that might look like. I think it's going to look very different. The rebound is going to clearly take longer. I think you also have to remember about the supply chain coming into these retailers has been disrupted. So products that maybe they ordered last year to come in are sitting there. They may be dated. They may be waiting for product, more current product to come in that hasn't hit their stores. So I think, our rebound is going to be slow. We hope it's going to be steady, but I think it depends on how the consumer reacts and also how our stores continue to change their models as they move forward.
And if we have that patience that you talked about, we can do a whole lot. Nancy Thomas, President and CEO of the Retail Merchants Association, thank you so much, and thank you for your good work.
Thank you for having me.